Hey guys, just wanted to chit chat with you all for a few minutes. I've just had thoughts over the last couple weeks, and I've been kind of writing them down as I go. I think mainly waiting for the right time to make a video and share it, but there's never a perfect right time to share anything like this because some people want to hear it, some people don't, and it's just the way it is. So I hope that regardless of your religious or non-religious views, you take the time to just watch it, and maybe it'll help you gain a better understanding of uh, Christianity or God or just situations that we're all facing in general. So here we go. In life, we're sometimes dealt things, sometimes as an individual, sometimes as a people, but our mental reaction is what determines the outcome emotionally. Some days we want to look at our circumstances or our situations and say, I can't do it anymore. I don't have the strength to handle this by myself. The good news is we don't have to. God said through the prophet Jeremiah, you will seek me and find me when you search with me with all of your heart. Seek the Lord and you'll find him waiting on you. Now, when you choose to follow Jesus, it doesn't always mean the road will get easier. It may get even tougher. The difference is that now the one who created you is giving you the strength to make it through these difficult times. Jesus says in Matthew 7, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against this house. And yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on a rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like the foolish man who builds his house on the sand. The rain fell, and the floods came, and the wind slammed against that house, and it fell, and it was a great fall. This says to me that no matter what, he will not let us fall to ruin if we have our faith in him. When these times come, we have to choose to say, okay, now what? You have to decide that even if God doesn't take this from me, and I have to walk through it, I know that I will be okay because he's walking through it with me. Even his son Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane the night before he was crucified and went away by himself and fell on his face and prayed, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but your will be done. He went away a second time and prayed, saying, my Father, if this cannot pass from me, unless I drink it, then your will be done. And again a third time he went away and prayed the same thing. He was saying that if it's not meant for him to be delivered from the bad situation he was in, that he trust God's plan. This is the faith that we all have to have in the midst of whatever mountain we face. In the book of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego excuse me, told King Nebuchadnezzar that the situation was set up where they were captured and brought to Babylon, where King Nebuchadnezzar ruled, and if you didn't serve his golden images, or golden image of himself, that you would be cast into the fiery furnace. Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had the same option. They can either denounce their faith and live, or bow down to Nebuchadnezzar's golden statue and live. But their reaction to this was, they chose not to bow. And they told the king, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the furnace of the blazing fire, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if he does not, let it be known that we are not going to bow to your gods or worship any golden image that you have set up. They walked out of that fire without a singed hair. But the most amazing part of this is that soon after the fire, or while they were in the fire, King Nebuchadnezzar had excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. King Nebuchadnezzar was astounded And he stood up, saying to his high officials, "Was it not 3 men that we cast and bound into the midst of the fire?" And the king replied, or sorry, they replied to the king, "Certainly, O king." And he said, "Look, I see 4 men loosed and walking about in the midst of the fire, and the fourth has the appearance of the son of the gods." Even in the intense heat, something so horrible that those men shouldn't have survived, something we can't even really imagine, the pain, burning alive. These men faced that, and they faced it with faith that they were going to be delivered from it. And even if not, if everything went as bad as it possibly could, everything was going to be okay regardless, because they had God behind them, and they knew where their afterlife was going to be spent at. But the most amazing thing is that God put himself in the midst of the fire with them, as the Son of Man, or Son of the Gods. In times like these, no matter if we're facing pandemics, or facing relationship issues, financial issues, normal sicknesses, everyday sicknesses, cancer, whatever the case is, we don't have to fight them alone. Even if it feels like we're alone, as long as we put our faith in God, no matter the outcome, everything's going to be okay. God puts himself in the midst of our storms, in the midst of our fires. He's right there with us, no matter what. That's something that not one other God that has ever been thought up, created, no matter who or what kind of peace they want to preach, there's no other God that puts themselves in the same shoes as their worshiper, or the worshipers, or the followers, or whatever the case is. Only the one true God who created the heavens and the earth is willing to do that. In these times of uncertainty, there is only one thing that's certain, and it's that God is there, and he cares for you, no matter the bad you've done. No matter how bad, he's faithful to forgive and give a fresh start to anyone who seeks it. All you have to do is nothing really. You turn from your ways. If you're doing anything bad, if you are an alcoholic, he'll give you the strength to at some point walk away from that. If you are addicted to drugs, if you are just anything you can imagine, any bad situation that you face, all you have to do is make the decision to turn away from that, make the decision to give your life to God, which again, it's not really anything. It's a punch card. You accept him in your life, and there you go. Some people use it as a free pass, but it's not. You're supposed to accept God, and even if you don't feel an instant change in your heart, you are supposed to work towards that. You're supposed to work towards having a pure heart, and having a pure heart just means turning away from any evil deeds that you do, no matter how big or how small. If you shoplift a tube of lipstick, or you forget to pay for a bag of chips in the self-checkout line, instead of just letting it go, pay for it. Just little things like that we've come to just really see as it is a big deal. Even multi-billion-dollar companies like Walmart or Target or whatever the case is, you're still stealing out of somebody else's pocket. And regardless of the situation, it's not right. So, just something as simple as that, you can turn away from and be forgiven. But coming to God is just repenting of your ways, which doesn't necessarily just mean asking for forgiveness. It means changing your mind about the bad that you do, and turning away from it. Taking his name in vain is something that a lot of people do, and it can be stopped. Any habit that gets started can be stopped. My fingernails, they're actually growing. After 25, 30 years of chewing them, I've learned to stop. You can stop any habit. Of course, that was just me stopping it. That's not, something that just comes out of your mouth, but any habit that has been started can be stopped. But I just implore you to think about life and what comes after it. just being a good person isn't enough. Like, everyone will have you believe that if you're a good person, you'll go to heaven. Like these coexist stickers you see on the back of people's cars where all religious symbols are rolled into one. You can be kind. There's nothing saying you can't be kind to those who are of different faiths than you. I have friends that are sadists. And they're some of the coolest people you ever meet. I mean, they're nice, they're kind, they're genuine. Their beliefs may not be right or in line with what I believe, but I'm not going to show disdain or hate or anger, bitterness or judgment towards them. I may try to be like, hey, I'm worried about you, this, but it's done out of love, not hate or bitterness or anything like that. But just being a good person isn't enough. Jesus said that I am the way, I am the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. That means if you're an atheist, but you're a good person, that you donate to charity, it's not good enough. Our good deeds aren't what get us to heaven. It's only through faith in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. And it says that many times in the Bible. It doesn't have any gray area. It's simple. Jesus is the only way to heaven, period. Oh boy. Pretty much, just believing in a creator, again, isn't enough. It says in the Bible, even demons believe in God, and that's because, of course, they know they're demons, there's God. But what sets us apart from demons and other unbelievers are putting our faith in God as our Savior. But I just want you to think a little bit. Take the step today to ensure your eternal salvation. We may have 80, 100 years on this earth if we're really lucky. Some of us may pass away in a car wreck tomorrow, considering we disobey the lockdown orders and get out and about. But all it takes is one heartbeat to be completely separated from God for all eternity. If my heart stopped right now, I would like to think that since my faith is in God, that I'm going to heaven. There are other people out there whose heart could stop right now, who are horrible people that are going to hell no matter what. There's also good people out there that their hearts could stop right now and they could go to hell. It's just one of those things. It's not a hard task. It's not a difficult thing to grasp the concept of. It's stated in the Bible that the pathway to evil is wide and the road to heaven is narrow. That means there is no room for gray area. There is no room for, I think. It says in the Bible, Jesus is the only way to heaven. And if you disagree with that, then it's just, you're not disagreeing with what I'm saying or what anybody else is saying. You're disagreeing with the Word of God, with what the Bible itself. So that's something that you have to kind of search in your heart and determine if you want to go off of what you and people in the world say, or if it's something that you actually believe with all your heart against the Bible. But I just want everybody to take a little bit of time out during, especially the time home that we're all given these few weeks for the quarantine, to think about some of these things. What if you get coronavirus and you do pass away from it? Are you going to be eternally set up how you need to be? What is your heart like? What's your relationship with God like? And following God isn't just I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. It's an actual relationship, again, something that no other gods offer. You read and learn to know God and Jesus and how they are, their characteristics, everything through reading the Bible. Just like, if somebody were to pass away and you were to read their diary or their journal to get a better understanding or insight of who they were as a person, who they were in general. The Bible is the same thing. It's just a better understanding of somebody, of something. And so I encourage you all, if you all have any interest in it whatsoever, to take the time out, message me or anybody else that you know is an actual good God-fearing, God-following Christian, and talk to them about it, and or me, and we can kind of point you hopefully in the right direction to get you on the path to being eternally saved. But I don't want to sound like a doomsday preacher and say this could be your last opportunity, but people have been saying for years, forever, that Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back soon. Jesus is coming back soon. It also says in the Bible that in the last days people will be mocking and saying, oh, well, your Lord was supposed to come back and he's not back yet. Just because he's not back yet doesn't mean he's not coming. And when he does, that's pretty much it. That's your only opportunity, is right now. Again, if you drop dead of a heart attack, then what? You don't have any time in the afterlife. You don't get to say, forgive me while you're at the pearly gates. It's only now. So out of love, I implore you all to deeply think about this. Some of you I know really well, some of you I don't, just acquaintances, but the fact of the matter is your people and race, religion, it doesn't matter. I love you. You're human, you're family. So I just ask you to take the time to think about this stuff. And again, if you have any questions or want to talk a little bit more about it in depth or whatever the situation is, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Or not give me a call, but shoot me a message, whatever the case is. But that's pretty much all I got. Sorry for the long video. It went a lot longer than what I thought, but apparently I had a lot more talking to do than what I thought it did. But hope you all have a great day. Stay safe. Don't cough on anybody. But love you all. Have a good one.